Hey guys, it's David Nuno. Nick's behind the glass. Nick, the mood around here, it's
not ideal.
But
in
the intro, you gave me a reason to be happy. Tell everybody why. Do you remember what you told me?
I do, yeah, and y'all are going to talk about it in the rewind. It's Aggie basketball. It's back. They beat Louisiana Monroe. They're looking good. If the offense can produce like they did against, lower competition, but they can carry that throughout, this should be a no-doubt tournament team when it comes time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Charean Williams also joined us on the program. We got to know the Auburn Tigers. Our friend Zac Blackerby there, Locked on Auburn, did a great job on the show. We talked to him, and we talked to former A&M tight end Jamie McCoy. Football's not been fun. Decommits, losing. It's, in fact, what is a worse word than not fun?
Not fun. Let's see.
It sucks, I know, but I'm trying to find a better, something better.
Dreadful.
Yeah, that's like what smart people use. Let's use a word like the kids would use.
Sad.
That's what you're going to come up with? Sad?
Kids word, yeah. Richard Zane has something to say.
Yes, Richard.
Hi, David.
Hey, Richard. I like your shirt or your top, your whatever it is.
He said he liked your top.
This is uncomfortable. Let's just go straight to the video.
Whoa. Thank you.
I'm sorry for you guys experiencing what I just experienced. It happened in real time, and now it's recorded. It's going to live forever. It's TexAgs Rewind. When we were hoping and told that the offense, A&M's offense in football would be much better. Not that one game tells you much more, but A&M's offense looked better than A&M's offense against Sam Houston. Sorry, basketball's offense looked better against ULM than A&M's football offense looked against Sam Houston to start the year. It was nice to see some 3-point shots, right?
Right. They hit a dozen, which is more than they had in any game last year. Wade Taylor was just very aggressive in taking that 3-point shot. You can tell he's worked on it a lot. Dexter Dennis, the new kid, had a couple, I think, and then Hayden Hefner came in and bombed in 4 of them. So maybe that's the team you're going to see. Now, they made outside shots that were open, and ULM's not a great team by any means.
No.
I mean, they're overmatched, but you're supposed to dominate overmatched teams. When Appalachian State comes in, you're supposed to dominate them. You don't play lesser teams. Florida State got beat by Stetson last night in basketball.
And they weren't the only one.
Right. There are others. So
Oklahoma, Florida State.
Who did Oklahoma lose to?
Who did Oklahoma lose? They lost to somebody they shouldn't have lost to. Let me go
Anyway,
back.
while you're looking at that, the point is they went out.
Sam Houston. 52-51.
Way to go, Sam.
Right? Props to Sam.
Beat them up, Cats. Okay. So
52-51. They outscored them in the final half, 33-25.
All right, Sam. I wonder if Savion Flagg's still playing for Sam. But anyway, so yeah, go out, and even if you're playing an overmatched team, show why they're overmatched.
Yeah.
And they did that, and they were a fun team to watch last year. They kind of picked up where they left off in that run to, not in, but run to the NIT finals last year.
Absolutely. Charean, I got some NFL questions for you, but I'm going to flip the script today because I feel like sometimes we have to rush through Aggies in the NFL. So let's go straight to that. Aggies in the NFL. Tell us some thoughts on those.
Yeah, and today's not probably the best day for that because it was not a good weekend. It's kind of like the Aggie fall weekend. There just wasn't a lot to choose from between off weeks and down games from players. But I'm going to give Isaiah Spiller a shout-out because he played his second game, but it was the most snaps he played. He played 4 snaps in Week 7, played 13 this week, and actually got 7 carries for 29 yards. So he's starting to get some playing time, hopefully get a chance. Von Miller, 2 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. But it was not a great week for him at the end of the game, not a great week for the Bills and losing to the Jets and giving up a late lead. So not a great week for Von. He promises to do better going forward. Christian Kirk, number 1, 8 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown, and they beat the Raiders, and that's about it. There's not a lot there. Ryan Tannehill still is out for the Titans, as you saw on Sunday night. They need him back in the lineup for the Titans to have a chance to win.
I think at A&M, again, if Connor Wigman is your guy, they feel much better about the chances because that offense has been so good. But A&M's Achilles heel for the last few weeks, and really all season long, but really the last few weeks, is stopping the run. Just talk about how good that Auburn rushing attack is with Tank.
The running backs are outstanding. Tank Bigsby, Jarquez Hunter, one of the best 1-2 punches in the SEC. The numbers don't say that because their offensive line is absolutely atrocious. But if those guys can get any sort of space whatsoever, it's a problem. Now, I think with Carnell at the helm, they're going to be willing to run it a little bit more. Brian Harsin said that he wanted to run a downhill offense, a physical offense, but his play calling didn't reflect that over his little over a year and a half of calling plays or being involved in the offense, rather, while here at Auburn. So I think that's going to be more of a threat this Saturday. We saw a little bit at Mississippi State, of course. But to me, it's all about the offensive line, and Texas A&M hasn't been great, like you said, at stopping the run. So maybe there'll be some push. Auburn lost their right tackle for the rest of the season. Austin Troxley got injured this past weekend. Brendan Coffey came in, and actually the running game got a little bit better. So I think that right tackle situation is definitely something to watch on Saturday.
Yeah, we're breaking down Auburn here with Zac Blackerby, Locked On Auburn Sports here on the program. Also, he's on SI all over it, breaking it all down. So when it comes to Cadillac Williams, you mentioned that they're buying in. What is it about his personality? What about, because sometimes you make a change and it lasts, like the effects last for a game or two, but what about his approach is potentially could help out for the rest of the season?
Well, you mentioned the game or two. I'm predicting that to happen, right? But I think emotion can get you through 4 weeks, right? Especially when what you've seen as a fan or as a player or as a media member just paying attention to this program for the last 2 years has been this dry, emotionless presence that's been talking about your team and saying that everything's just going to be okay. I mean, that's what Brian Harsin was. And I think that could work some places. I don't think it could work in a place like Auburn where they're all about family and energy and just overall, I don't know, positive vibes in the SEC. I know that sounds weird to say, but then you get Carnell Williams that comes in and, all of a sudden it seems like he cares. And I think a lot of people are really feeding off of that. The images of him jumping up and down on the sideline with all the other coaches, it's infectious. The players are getting it. The players are having fun again. I was told from multiple sources the first few days afterwards that, oh man, everybody's just so glad that he's gone. And so I think some of it is Carnell Williams. I think some of it is it's not Brian Harsin. And so Carnell, from a fan perspective, is one of the most beloved Auburn people ever, right? With what he was able to do in the early 2000s and a short stint in the NFL, and then coming back to coach running backs under Gus and being the only player that's retained. Auburn people love Carnell Williams. And so that's a big part of it, right? It's just people love Carnell so much and they want him to win. And I don't think Auburn fans had any sort of positive feelings as a whole for Brian Harsin for the majority of this year.
So I remember coming into the season, people were like, look, Harsin's probably gone, but the players that are left are buying into what Harsin was saying. So here we are. People are excited that he's gone. So why didn't it work? Is it his personality? Is it just the losing?
I think losing beats up anybody, right?
Yep.
I mean, you see folks in the northern part of the state, they lose 2 games and everything's falling apart despite how much they've won. So
A-Chain is their best offensive weapon. He does everything. So how important is it to find a way?
It's paramount. You've got to get the ball in his hands. I know they got him back there on kickoff returns. I'm not sure if he's skilled in the punt return fashion, but like you say, he is a guy that needs to get the ball in his hands. I've said it before. I don't know if we need to just simplify, run a toss sweep. There's different things you can do. You can line them up out wide. You can put them in motion. I don't think I've seen a jet sweep from us all year. There's different ways that you can maneuver and get him the ball. It just seems that we're stuck in the mud. We're depending on this old form of offense, and it's not getting us anywhere. And we got to do something quick because it's about to be early signing day for a lot of these cats. And right now, we're not looking like a team that you would want to come help out and put your hand in the pile. So I'm hoping we can do something in these last 3 games and try to get bowl eligible.
I know nobody wants to see positive right now. They just want to be angry. But where have you seen progression on this team?
Just in the camaraderie. A lot of times I haven't seen with as bad as it's going, I haven't seen any finger pointing or blaming. I haven't seen guys throwing their arms up in the air, yelling at each other on the field. Hadn't seen any fights on the sideline, which is always a good thing. I know I said it last week. With a lot of these losses, we've been in the fight. We just haven't got the last play, hadn't got the last drive figured out, and not been able to capitalize. But those are the positives I've seen. I like that we've been able to come out early and score here in these last few recent games. We've thrown the ball downfield. We've shown that we're able to do that. But with that being said, I know there was a time in the second half where Florida was throwing it downfield on us. So I think we need to do that throughout the game. We got to give our guys a shot and try to get some type of explosive plays. We hadn't had too many explosives, and you got to have at least 4 or 5 in a game if you want to be a stout offense and be able to compete in this SEC.
Like, comment, subscribe. You know it. I got an interview to do. Bye.